Oh, hi there. Welcome back to another video. And this is something, a topic. I, how do I say? Okay, before we begin, if you want to hit the like button, hit subscribe, turn notifications on, and join me on this wonderful journey of many, many videos that happen every day, which goddamn I'll try and make. Okay, so I want to talk about Power Girl and this controversy and this whole thing that comic book artists, I always find that if things aren't going their way, or they find other things, like say manga or anime and stuff like that, that they if they're not a part of it, then it's like they're part of the problem. They're part of the problem, and it irritates me on so many levels because anime is dominating everything at the moment. And I know the reason why it's working so well. And that's mainly because the stories are better. There isn't any politics. There isn't anything that, makes them go, oh, like you don't see Deku suddenly take an issue and sit down and talk about what's going on in the world. It's more, I am the hero. I need to stop the bad guys. Let's fight and do stuff like that. It's a very basic thing, and it's weird. Like I've been hearing from a lot of people online that apparently the X-Men are having a dinner party. And why would you want to read about that? Is something happening, or are they just having a conversation? Like, why would I want to physically read something like that when I can see stuff happening in manga of them beating the bad guy and actually having a decent story? Why? It's just so weird. And there's so many different mangas out there, like loads of them. But this is a thing I want to talk about, and I really want to show some examples. Okay, so I'm bounding into comics. Power Girl co-creator Jerry Conway wants to see manga creators taken to task for their rampant sexism and misogyny. Like, have you ever noticed when stuff doesn't go the way that they want? It's misogyny. Oh, that's sexist. Make sure you've got the misogyny out there. And you're like, what? What? Again, if it was something like, can you imagine if Sailor Moon came out and it's like, oh, misogyny? It's like, really? What? Fucking hell. Okay, the Western comic book industry has officially begun to turn its sights on Japanese entertainment industry as Power Girl co-creator Jerry Conway declared as he wants to see the manga industry taken to task for their rampant sexism and misogyny. On May 11th, presumably prompted by recent situations surrounding J. Scott Campbell's response to a Tumblr artist's fixing of his work, Conway took to Twitter to bafflingly assert that while American comic book artists are taken deservedly to task regularly for outrageous sexist treatment of women, he rarely saw any commentary on the rampant sexism and misogyny of manga. Power Girl, out of all the people in the DC comics that I have seen, Power Girl is the type of person that has just massive breasts. It's there. Like if I did a search, for Power Girl right now, I guarantee all I see you think. And one thing I will say now, in case I forget, is there is a comic book called "I'm a Commie Girls." So when we look at this, and this is it. So first of all, it's all the anime girls have big tits, do they? Power Girl drawn in the anime. This is, I think, I remember reading something. I remember reading the comic for this originally, because it was their take on trying to do anime type thing. But if we skip through to it, oh look, big titties. Another one, big titties of Power Girl. Again, more focus on titties. There we go. Another screenshot right there. Oh look, another. There we go. There we go. So, like, oh, here's another one. And all the robots as well. There's tons of them. Let's do one more. Oh look, there we go. More focus on the breasts. So it feels like because he's not getting any work right now, I feel like he's really probably going. He may be getting work actually. Fair dues, he may be getting work. But when I see this sort of stuff, it's just like if he's not worked for a while, or his character isn't in there, I just think, really, okay. So he goes, American comic book. So we read that. Manga is incredibly popular. And the manga is incredibly popular with younger readers. Conway added, attempting to support his disingenuous argument with the trend. Think of the children, moral broken. Again, it's like that. Is if we, I feel like when I see these sorts of things, it's like let's get rid of comic, but let's get rid of anime and manga because they're not right. Like get rid of them and then buy comics. Buy mine, buy DC comics. Buy Marvel and stuff. And I'm just thinking at the end of the day, if you're writing decent stories, then write decent stories. Don't just slam an entire other like art medium because you can't come up with generic good stories or decent stories. It's an instant slam anime and manga because I don't understand it, and how can that girl with big titties do it? You co-created with Power Girl. Cool. As proof of his claim that manga was filled with rampant sexism and misogyny, the veteran comic book writer pointed to the cover image of Dragon Builder, The Demon's King, Labyrinth is a Modern City's fourth volume, which depicts the series of busty ancient elf monster Aura, and in her standard skankily clad outfit. So this is pretty much it. Can we look at Power Girl again? Like, can we go up Power Girl? There's one Power Girl, Power Girl. Like, can you Google Power Girl? This is generic how anime has worked, and if you don't like it, you don't have to read it. I didn't know this existed. Will I read it? I have no idea. Don't care. In a follow-up tweet, Conway continued not to mention manga's rampant sexism of teen and pre-teen young women in media that in America is mostly popular among young readers. Now, when I was younger, I had the chance to read a lot of Marvel and DC. It wasn't at first very accessible because comics wasn't a big thing over here. But then it was when I went to like Waterstones and Borders. Dear God, Borders shut down a long, long time ago. It was more. I was more interested in the anime and manga or the manga section because comic books were quite boring. Now, the only comic book series that I read from Marvel is Black Cat. That's the only one I'm reading. DC, there is nothing out there that makes me want to. I think the only one I kind of liked was Deceased, and I kind of really wanted to read that. But in general, there's not a lot that I kind of want to read because I find that stories in general now just seem to be really shit, or it's not great, or they backtrack, or they make random stuff. So I'm not a huge DC comic book reader. I prefer the TV shows than to a lot of stuff. So, do we ignore this because we're afraid to criticize non-Western cultural tropes? He asked. Conway then presented another manga cover in support of his argument, this time drawing attention to the cover of the 7th volume. Don't toy with me, Miss Nagamoto. Please don't borrow me. Please don't bully me, Nagamoto-san. And there's nothing really wrong with this particular image. Like, is it because that she's showing skin down here? Because I'm sure that's how skirts work. If you sat like that, you could obviously cover it up. But again, I don't see anything bad with this particular image. There's no way around it. The arguments made in Conway's tweet are disingenuous at best, outright lies at worst. First off, he claims that sexualized description of female characters are inherently sexist and misogynistic in the outright line, and ironically, a misogynistic one, given the more extreme existence of a large number of female artists who enjoy drawing sexy characters, such as a digital artist, Sakimoki-chan, I don't know, or Bayonetta designed by Mari Thingy. So again, like Bayonetta is out of all video game characters, she is to me one of the most sexualized characters, but yet strong women that I've ever seen in a video game. And yet it's always this. I mean, like her entire body is covered by her hair. That's her outfit, from what was told. But again, like it feels that you can't have a sexy character, and if these artists, these comic book artists, get kind of like they're not getting work, or they kind of think they're giving a hot take, and then they get battered with it, and it's a bit crazy, and it just kind of really irritates me because at the end of the day, everything changes. Sex sells. That's the main thing. So anime is going to have a different thing, and also Power Girl. Okay, cool. Yeah, more egregious to his claim that his only rarely seen criticizing of manga being sexist, as the only way this could be true is if he was either only getting his anime and manga news straightforward news only trade outlets, or he was outright blind. As anyone who has engaged with any of the number of communities surrounding the medium of more than 15 minutes on social media knows, both anime and manga deep pictures of a women and favorite target of community. Goddamn, my reading. From critical social justice and race theories, spiteful busty bodies, and offensive dispenser of attraction seekers. Okay, goddamn my reading. For example, in 2019, self-righteous fans of My Hero Academia took issue with how the anime adaptation's depiction of Heido featured a more defined bust than her manga counterpart, criticizing the change on grounds for arranging this misogyny, there we go, to P. I'm not going to say that word because, again, this video won't go out properly. In fact, one fan felt so self-righteous in their anger towards Studio Bones, apparently misogynistic crimes against the fictional character, that they called upon their Twitter followers to hunt Studio Bones down, and even highlighted the location of the headquarters and as featured in their Wikipedia entry. I remember that, and it's just fucking stupid. Like, seriously, if you're so fucking angry about a character's breasts and it's like, oh, it doesn't like this, fuck off. Like, seriously, don't watch it, don't read it, don't wear that. Now, I can understand if people get angry, but again, going hunting down people, what the actual fuck? Seriously, what the actual fuck? Just 15 days later, the Shonen Jump series Yuna and the Haunted Hot Springs was vocally castrated on social media by Western critics for the risque pinup of the series character featured in the manga's 48th issue this year. I remember this as well, and to be honest, it's so fucking stupid. You know, it feels, again, like no one can draw what they want because someone doesn't like it, and it's like they want to change it. But yeah, if it was their artwork or something else, they would go to town and say, oh my god, you can't do this. According to the mob, the in-session pinup was not only obscenely disgusting and tantamount to child abuse. Again, it's not, but in the words of one particular critic, reason to celebrate that Japan's population is declining. Okay, so I'm not going to show the photo, but you can kind of guess. In the mid-2020, the premiere of the animation adaptation of Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out saw a worrying number of social media users accuse the highly sexualized depiction of the series. I hate it. Why can't you just put it on a different line? Of the main character. So a worrying amount of social media users accuse everyone from the series creator of fans of the series of P. Again, it wasn't. It stated at the very beginning that Uzaki-chan she was 17 or 18, and then it skipped a year, so it said like, oh, she's 19 now or 20. And again, it's this whole thing of people have to change it. I don't like it, so I'm going to get rid of it. Let's rally my friends and we can get rid of it. I don't like it. But yet again, if you were changing any character in Marvel or DC or anyone's comic book, you know, how dare you do that? You cannot do that. It's not fair. Last year, CBR published an editorial asserting that the way One Piece manga icon drew female characters served only to reinforce harmful stereotypes, claiming, contrary to what anyone who has read popular shonen series knows, the Oda's female character designs are often whatever. The idea of the beauty, I think, so basically going on like, you know, beautiful characters. And then obviously Shogun characters, we've seen this. It's a big thing. So again, Power Girl. Here we go, because it's sort of kind of going off topic. So where were we? Given the fact that Japanese manga has absolutely overtaken and outblown Western comic book industry in the terms of sales in the United States, Conway's dishonest peril clutching feels more a desperate attempt to attack an industry competitor rather than bringing it together, etc., etc. Again, Power Girl. So this is a big thing in some way. Again, manga is doing extremely well. It is the best thing that's coming out so far, and it's destroying characters. Now, I was watching Yellow Flash's video on this, and jumping over to Twitter, he mentioned this one, and it had some really cool like pictures. So basically, translating this tweet, I can't do it without permission. There's no way this kind of shit's going to be popular. And this was basically talking about the way that Marvel has basically made stuff like Snowflake safe space, because again, the population on Twitter will literally go and say, like, we want our characters in this, we want these ones to represent us. And again, why would you call it Snowflake and safe space and stuff like that? Because again, it's not doing it. It's one thing that is very irritable, because it's pandering to a lot of people. I want a character that is dedicated to me. I want to feel safe in the safe space. And feeling safe in your own space, that's absolutely fine. But when it starts bleeding into comics and stuff where you're going way too far with it, I think it's just one of those things that really irritates me, because, again, it's not going to do well when it comes to sales. Again, I don't know if this has even gone to print. I've not seen it anywhere whatsoever, or even talked about anymore. But this is one thing that kind of brings this up. So this is Squirrel Girl done by Marvel, and it's obviously their take. A really nice kind of thing. I really like Squirrel Girl. I think she's a great character. So, you kind of think this is how I would see Squirrel Girl being like all happy and stuff. But when we kind of move across, boom, this is what they kind of want. And I feel like if you're making this sort of entertainment for people, or drawing this, it's like, why? Comic books are meant to be good looking to think, both male and female. But I feel like now it's like, oh, we can't have this. Another good example, I think it's kind of down here, is, again, when you order something online, when a Versus arrives, but this is where they want to draw like good looking characters, sexy characters and stuff like that. But then it's like, what? Like, how can you go from, like, if you looked up like Captain Marvel and stuff like that you go from, like, say, a good looking girl, which is empowerment, is doing everything, to this? Like, it just, what? Like, what? And you can hear Americans don't want this garbage either. It's why the top 25 sales charts here are all manga. Mainstream comics are destroying popular characters and publishing terrible art and political nonsense. Why would I buy this type of stuff when I can pick up a copy of Demon Slayer? And that shows quite a lot right there. Why? Just why? I would, if I saw something like that, I would want to pick up manga myself. There is tons of manga. And even, like, kind of going this, like, even in, this is, I think, from one of our newspapers over here in the UK. Have they lost their marvels? Comic book woke superheroes, no joke. Like, what? Again, it just, to me personally, I feel that, it's literally, you might as well just hire every single woke person on Twitter, the ones, and come at you and say, this is the stories that we're writing, see how far you are. And to be fair, even this is one thing that Yellow Flash has talked about, is, the top 20 sales in America are manga. I would feel ashamed. I would feel like I have failed this if I was working in comics, because, it's good that manga's there, and I'd be celebrating it. But then I would think, why aren't our comic books up there? Batman's the number one, like, normally quite high up. So where is it? I would look at how we're doing it, and I would stop listening to all these people on Twitter when it's stuff. Like, again, with Marvel, why would I be wanting to read issues of them all having a dinner party? If I'm reading a comic book, I want the standard, the bad guy, I want the lead up, the hero, like, fighting his way, doing stuff, beating the bad guy at the end and enjoying it. That's what I want. And I just find it irritable. Anime does that. Anime has that, or manga has that story. The hero starting, and then they obviously beat the bad guy, and then it's the next one, and it's the next one. And that's the reason why, if you're reading Demon Slayer, which is, from what I heard, really good, because I've just started the anime, if the manga is amazing and that's winning, look at how they're doing it. See how you can make your stuff better compared to doing shit. That's it. Again, and also, what's his name again? I want to know what his name is. Jerry Conway. Literally, don't turn around and start having a go at people or trying to get the take because you want those woke points. Actually, kind of look at how this is all working, because if you're literally not working with Power Girl, and if your series isn't doing that great, why is manga doing it? And this is one thing, is like business that I would look at, is I would get people to read these mangas, to actually look at how these stories are, and then kind of make your own stuff with either new characters or do it. What is a good story? Oh, I could go on for ages, but I'm going to leave it there. This video is long enough than it is. But I just hate the fact that all these comic book artists now are having a go at manga and anime because they don't like it. It just really, really annoys me so much that you think you could easily do something better. Just do better. Make interesting stories for once. Black Cat story is quite interesting at the moment, which I'm reading. But as soon as that's finished, I don't think I'm going to buy any more Marvel or DC comics. I don't even buy DC comics now. But I don't think I'm going to be buying any more Marvel stuff. Not unless Black Cat comes in, because she's my favourite character. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. What are your thoughts on this? Do you agree with what I said? Do you not? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. And if you like this sort of content and you want to see more, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, as well as that cheeky notification bell to be notified when more videos drop. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.